Hello, this is Ms. DB, and in this video we're going to review what you need to do for the Chapter 1 project. Now you have some different objects or options for the project. You can create it on your own paper using a compass and straight edge to do the constructions. You can use Sketchpad, Geometry Sketchpad, which is what I'm going to do, or you can create your drawing using the online Geometry Toolbox tools. The directions for all of the constructions, there's videos in the week 1 folder. There's a table near the top that will review each of these constructions in more detail with whatever method you're going to create your drawing. So in Sketchpad, some of these are very simple. A line, array, the angle. The one that are more complicated is the construction. So 3, 4, 9, and 10. And, maybe the translation, reflection, and, well, that's pretty easy. So those ones might be a little bit more tricky as well. So I'm going to focus mostly on those constructions in this video. Your design, your drawing is supposed to look like something. It can either be a real thing or it can be abstract, but you're not just going to say, here's a line, number 1, number 2, array. It should look like a cohesive unit when it's done, look interesting. So for my line, I'm just going to go ahead and put that at the bottom of my page. Oops, that's a segment. See, a segment has 2 endpoints. To get the ray tool, hold this down with your mouse button, and there's the one I want. And so for the table, to fill it in, I'm just going to write that this is at the bottom of page. And next I'll do my ray, and I'm just going to put that along the left side here. Kind of be my edge of my, I'm going to make this kind of look like a building. And next is the segment that's been copied using construction. So that doesn't mean make a segment and then copy it just by copy and paste. What we're going to do is make a segment. That is the first step. And decide where you want the segment to be copied. I'm going to put it down here somewhere. This will be the top and bottom of a window. So I need another point to where I want my segment to be moved to. Okay, so I'm going to move this segment. I'm going to copy it and put it down here. Here's how to do that. I need a circle to have this radius. Circle by center and point. Construct circle by center and point. So I made a circle that was constructed with that point as the center, and then this is a point on the circle, so the radius is this long. All right. Now I am going to keep that circle. Let's see what I need. I need this circle to also be constructed about this point. So now I'm going to construct a circle by the center and the radius. Now the radius is the radius of the other circle, but the center is where the other point is. So I selected the radius, but not the points, and the new point. And now I go to construct circle by center and radius. So my new circle is down lower, but the size of my new circle is the same size as that other circle. So when I construct a radius from this point where I'm moving my segment to here, why can't I draw that? This segment is the exact same as that segment up there. And we can check, we can measure them. I'm going to select both of them, measure their lengths, and you'll see that they're the exact same thing, because I constructed them both to be the radius of a circle, and the circle was the same circle. So you can hide your circles if you want, if you don't think they look good in your building, but it is kind of cool looking, I think, and it shows that these segments have been copied, and you can swing this radius around and it's still going to be the same length. So it doesn't have to be parallel to the other one in order to be copied, but for my purposes it looks kind of neat, so I'm going to do that. So on my table over here, I'm going to write that FG was copied from DE. Since it labeled them anyway, that's a nice way to say how you got that. Okay, next one, a segment that has been bisected or perpendicular bisector using construction. So there's different ways to do this, to bisect a segment. One of my favorite ways is just to create a perpendicular bisector of a segment. So if you select the segment, you can construct a perpendicular line, but it's going to be blurred out because it's not letting me do that, because they're like, well, what do you want to find a perpendicular line of, right? So I'm going to also create the midpoint of my line. So select the segment and go to construct midpoint, because the midpoint is exactly halfway. It's bisecting this line into two parts. So really my segment has been bisected, but I want to make my perpendicular bisector. So now I just select the segment and the point, and then I can construct a perpendicular line that's going through that. So there's my perpendicular line. So let's see, segment FG is bisected. Also, these two lines are perpendicular, and you can tell that from, use this marker tool and draw a line like this, and it turns into a little right angle. I'm going to label this and this. And now I can say FG is bisected by HI. Okay. Now at some point I might want to stop and say, well, what is this picture? You know, it's kind of bizarre looking, and you might want to add details that make it look more interesting. An angle that is acute, obtuse, right, and straight. Those should be pretty straightforward. You can measure your angles by, you can either make your angles with raised or segments. If you don't want them to go all the way off the page, then you can use the segment tool. You can hide the endpoints too if you don't like them in your pictures. So there's an acute angle. I can double check that by measuring it. And I can measure this angle by clicking on the points that make up my angle in order, making sure that the vertex is the middle point that you select, and then you can measure the angle. Oops, I have something else selected here. If you ever can't get to what you want to get to, it's probably because something extra is selected. I had that segment selected. Now I should be able to measure my angle. And I can see that it's 45 degrees, which is clearly acute. Now, I wouldn't have had to do that because it's obviously an acute angle. But you can have it there if you want. And then if you move this, it's going to change the angle, of course. And the measurements will change as you move it around. If you, like I said earlier, if you don't want the endpoints to show, you can hide those. It doesn't matter to me if they show or don't show, but for your sake of your artistic, you might decide that they should be hidden. It's still going to be called JKL, though. I think I'll hide that too. Display, hide my angle measurement. I made sure it was acute, now I'm just going to hide it. And again, make sure you label where that's going to be. If you want to move anything around, you can draw a box around it to select all parts of it, and then you can just drag and move that wherever you think it should go. I think I'll put it down here, just for kind of get it out of the way. And then you do your obtuse and your right and your straight and so on. Remember, for a right angle, you could call this your right angle. You can use some of these parts more than once. Also, like here's another right angle right here. It's going to turn into a little square. And if you want to label it with a point, you could say that angle FIM is a right angle. So you could use parts of your construction more than once to fill this in. Okay, let's copy an angle. And this one's kind of interesting. So to copy an angle, we need to have an angle. I have this one. I wonder if I want to use that same one. I think I'll just start with another one. Okay, so we can draw an angle. Okay, and I also need a line down where I'm going to move my angle to, where I'm going to copy it to. So I'm just going to put it down here. I'm going to copy this angle to down here. So to do that, I need several parts.